Limiting beliefs. That is the topic of today. How they limit us, why they limit us, and how to stop being limited by ideas that are not real is what we're going to talk about because it is impacting you, it is impacting your family, it is impacting your kids, and it is impacting your life, and it doesn't need to. So if you want to rock out with your kids and create the most amazing life, we have to stop believing these limiting beliefs that are keeping us from being less than great. So, first and foremost, what is a limiting belief? It is an idea that we have thought so many times over and over and over and over and over again that may or may not be true, that has become a belief. So, they are often really general. They're a big concept. So usually there's something like, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I should look different to do this job. Or if I were taller, it would be easier. Or I'm too fat or I'm too thin. Or no one will ever love me. Those are all limiting beliefs. And many of us have overlapping limiting beliefs. Yours and mine are probably pretty similar. And usually at the core, it's something around not being good enough, not being loved, because that's our core belief. And when we live from those beliefs, we stop ourselves from being amazing. And part of why I want to talk about it is because I want you to let go of your limiting beliefs and be amazing. But I also don't want you to pass these on to your kids. I want your kids to be able to grow up recognizing that they're having these thoughts and stop them. Because what would your life be like if for the past however many years you knew you were amazing? You knew you were great. I know mine would be different if I faced some of my beliefs a little sooner, but I'm here now and I'm looking at them now. Hopefully you are too. So, first, we got to figure out what are our limiting beliefs. They are often unconscious. They're like back here, that little voice that just tells us we're not enough. I know that one of my limiting beliefs is that there's a right way to do things and I don't know what it is. And it's one that comes up again and again and again in my life. But I'm working really hard to get rid of this idea that there is a right way to do things and everything else is wrong. And I have to wait for somebody to tell me what is the right way. Does not serve me. I know that one of my limiting beliefs is that I'm not smart enough. Now, sometimes limiting beliefs can motivate us to do really great things. It's probably part of why I have my doctorate, because I just had to create some proof out in the world that I was smart. Turns out I actually am. Who knew? Not me. So there are ways that limiting beliefs can push us towards good things, but it also can stop us from demonstrating, from expressing, from sharing our greatness. I know that after I got my doctorate, it was a couple years before I talked about it because I didn't believe I was worthy of it. That's combining a couple limiting beliefs. And it wasn't until a friend made me stand in the ocean and yell that I am Dr. Marcy that I was willing to be really loud about it. And that belief that I'm not smart enough got broken away. So, what are some of the thoughts that you don't even recognize you have, but maybe you see a shadow of, a piece of? If you are willing to put them in the chat, given that I just went first and shared some of my limiting beliefs and how it's impacted me, maybe you will be willing to share. I also wonder do you see that your kids have limiting beliefs? Do you see their stuck points where they believe there's a right and a wrong way to do things? Do you see some of that perfectionism, or do you see them withdrawing from friends and maybe feeling like they're not worthy or not good enough or not creative enough? When you see those, let's talk about what we do once we find them, and you can help your kids with it too. So once we know what our limiting beliefs are, we have to go about deciding and recognizing that they are true or not true. So usually they're not. And so we look for proof. Now, the tricky thing about proof is that we can find proof of anything. We can find proof that our beliefs are right. I could have found proof that I wasn't smart enough to do anything, right? I could have found that proof if I was looking for it. But I can also find proof that I am smart enough. I can take risks that have now led to really good proof that I am smart enough. So think about what's the proof around the opposite of your limiting belief. I'm not worthy of love. Okay, well, where are the places that you have felt love, where you have been loved by others? I know that that is sometimes one of my limiting beliefs. And then I look at my life and I look at the amazing people in it, including you, who have loved me, who have cared about me. And I go, oh, well, I guess maybe I am worthy because I've shown up and it has been here. So, where are you worthy? What is the proof that you are worthy of this? Right? Is it a degree, right? I'm smart enough. I can prove that because I have my doctorate. Between you and me, I'm not sure having a doctorate makes me smarter than anybody. It just means that I did a lot of work that somebody else didn't do. But I can stand on that and go, "Oh, yeah, I did something. I wrote 2 books." Okay. I've had families come to me and say, "You've made a difference in my life." And I go, "Oh, okay. I know that I have that my intelligence helped with that." Okay. That limiting belief is not true. So look for the proof. Where are the places that you can point to and say, "That thought that I have that I'm not worthy isn't true because here are places where I was, where other people showed up for me, or I showed up for myself, or I did that thing that surprised me." Where is the proof? Look for it, find it. Once we find the proof, then we can come up with a different story, a new thought, a new possibility. So, mine of not being smart enough, if I look at my proof and go, oh, yeah, I've done some really amazing things. This is cool. I guess I have some wisdom to share. That feels like the true opposite, right? Saying I'm smart enough kind of makes me feel like I'm in third grade, right? That's not a word that resonates with me, but I have some intelligence that I can share with people that resonates with them. I also, in this limiting belief for me, don't feel like it is just mine. I feel like we can all be wise. I feel like we can all be intelligent. We just have to be willing to accept that because I think that we all do. Like we can all be amazing. Your amazingness does not take away from mine. My amazingness does not take away from yours. It enhances it. Sometimes we have limiting beliefs that only one person can be the best. Well, if we're using that word, then yes, but there are lots of different ways to be amazing. So what if once we find the proof, we find this other belief and we keep thinking it and we say, "Oh yeah, I had that belief because we all can be really smart. We all can be really wise. We all can be really intelligent." And I make that part of my new belief. I think that thought over and over and over again. I and everyone else have wisdom to share. That feels like a really exciting new thought. And if we keep thinking that new thought over and over and over again, I and everyone else have wisdom to share. Eventually, that limiting belief disappears and that new belief takes over, and my amazingness and your amazingness can shine through. Sound good? I think that sounds awesome. So, how does this then impact you, your family, your kids, and your life? Well, first, I want you to write your new empowered belief in the chat because I want to know what it is. I want to grow from your amazing thought, from your new belief, your new thought that is going to turn into a belief because you're going to say it over and over again. So, how does it impact you? When I believe that I'm not smart, I then act that out in different ways. I don't submit the application for a speaking engagement. I don't take the risk to reach out to networking people to get new clients. I don't read new and interesting books to learn more things. I act like I'm not worthy of that. But when I believe that I and everyone else have wisdom to share, well, then I'm willing to do a YouTube live and share my thoughts. I'm willing to put my thoughts in books and share them with the world. I'm willing to stand on a stage and share my thoughts because I have wisdom to share, just like you do. So it impacts my life because we live out our belief system. How does that impact your family? Well, if in your family you are acting like you are not worthy of love, you might push people away. I sometimes feel like I am too loud. Haven't talked about that limiting belief yet in this video, but I am a loud person. And sometimes I believe that I am too loud, too much. Anyone else feel like they're too much? Yep. Well, how that plays out in my family sometimes is that I sometimes want to prove it and make myself bigger than I am, which doesn't feel good to anyone because it's a little bit fake. And sometimes I try to intentionally make myself smaller. It doesn't feel good to me and I can't be seen. Okay? So in your family, so if I shift my I'm too big belief to like I'm just me and that's great. Right? I'm just me. Then when I show up for my family, I can show up as myself. I can show up as all of me. And I can be discerning about what's happening in my environment if I need to recognize that other people are not in the enthusiastic place I am, or that it's not the right time for a happy dance, because that happens. It's true. Well, if that's the case, then I can show up as myself and adjust to the environment as opposed to feeling like I'm wrong and bad. So in your family, you need to show up as all of you, and your limiting beliefs may stop you from doing that. So find the opposite, the truth of the other side of it. How does this impact your kids? It impacts your kids because your kids watch everything and they know so much more than you think. So they see when you are keeping yourself small because you think you're too big. They see when you're acting from that place of not feeling very smart, and they absorb that. But you can do the opposite of saying, I have wisdom to share, and so does everyone else. And they see when you live from that place and pick up that messaging. The other way that all of this affects your kids is that they have limiting beliefs. And perhaps you want to talk to them about that. What are those voices in your head? What are those thoughts that you sometimes think that don't make you feel good? Okay, well, let's look for proof of the opposite. And then let's find a different thought that makes us feel better. And you can walk them through that. The truth is, limiting beliefs don't disappear. There will always be new and different ones that come in because that's the way our psychology works. The goal is to keep seeing them, seeing when a new layer arrives, seeing when a new thought arrives that doesn't serve you, and taking it apart. So teach your kids to start doing that now. Teach them that they are amazing. And part of being amazing is looking at these ideas that we have that aren't right about ourselves or the world, that aren't true, that holds us back. If you teach your kids that and you live from that place, everything becomes possible. So, the final way that I love combating limiting beliefs is actually not about the limiting beliefs at all, but it is about stacking the deck. It is about making sure that we are intentionally having good, positive, happy thoughts on a regular basis. So talk to your kids, talk to yourself about what's great about you. That is literally the name of the exercise. It's called What's Great About You. And you sit down with your family and you pick one person in the group and everyone gives that person 3 things that are great about them, including them. So if it's you and me and your kiddo are doing this exercise, we're going to say, you go first. What are 3 things that are great about you? And then I'm going to say 3 things that are great about you. And then your kiddo is going to say 3 things that are great about you. And then we're going to switch. And then I'll be in the hot seat. And then your kiddo will be in the hot seat. So everyone has to say and find their own greatness, but also receive things that they may not have heard before. So what's great about you is an amazing exercise because it allows us to give and receive. And that is a really powerful way to combat limiting beliefs because we will start to see our own amazingness. So the third thing I want you to put in the chat is what's great about you. I want to know. So one thing, I'll go first, okay? I'll go first. One thing that's great about me is that I was willing to make this video, even though it's a little bit different than the flavor of what I usually do. but it felt really important and it felt like a theme that kept coming up in conversations and in one on one sessions. And I wanted to bring it here to you. So that's one. Two, what's great about me is my enthusiasm. I can find the silver lining, the good in anything, and then truly desire to celebrate that, which I think is so fun. So that's two. Three, I have learned to see things that are hard for me and move through them. I don't let them stop me as much as I used to. I still have my moments where I get stuck. I usually ask for help then. And the fact that I am willing to do hard things, the fact that I am willing to ask for help, I think is something great about me. All right. I want to know what's great about you. I also am hoping that you will subscribe to my channel, that you will like this video, and that you will share it with someone who needs to know this message. Because when you subscribe and you share this video, then you will know when there are other amazing videos on this channel just for you. And with that, I will say have a fabulous day. And remember that blue skies are ahead and we are going to get there together. Bye.